Hello everyone, my name is D-Man5, and today we are talking about X-Men '97, Episode 7, Bright Eyes. So, yeah, let's just get into it. We open with Gambit's funeral, which is pretty emotional because a lot of people are there, and we're finally seeing, since last week's episode, I was like, can we get back to the Genosha stuff with Gambit and how the X-Men are going to deal with it? They got right into it, and Nightcrawler gives a really nice eulogy about a lot of poker phrases, and saying that Gambit's tell was his modesty, which is very heartwarming. And made me miss Gambit a lot. Growing up, I was never a big Gambit fan. Even when watching the show, I was like, he's kind of cool. I like him and Rogue's whole thing, but this show really made him interesting, and I miss him. I miss him a lot. But Nightcrawler, he gives the eulogy, and he does a really good job with it. And I'm just gonna go on about this in every episode I talk about. Voice acting is top notch in this show. It's really great, and I love it. So after the funeral, we cut to Rogue, who is on the hunt for, I believe it's Henry Gyrick. Yeah, Henry Gyrick, who helped build the Sentinel, and she goes to a what is it, military base in New Mexico, which is where Ross is, who is from the Hulk movies. If you're a big MCU person, he's also been in the MCU movies. And he gives a little Hulk reference by saying, "Gentlemen, we are in a base built to hold the Hulk. A little mutant from the swamp isn't going to do anything." She breaks through. And Rogue, the animation done on Rogue for when she's fighting is so cool because she does this cool spin through the air, kick, and straight down and just breaks a tank, and she just goes ham on these guys. It's incredible. But she's looking for Gyrick, and Ross is like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. And she gets what she wants. And then we cut back to the X Mansion where Cyclops is on the meeting with, I think, the president, if I remember. And he's saying a lot of politics are involved. I should really write down the politic notes because it's very interesting. And then no, you don't. Then Cyclops and the rest of the team go to Genosha, and what I've noticed how they've made this Genosha attack, or how they written it, is almost like 9/11. Hear me out. It's very emotional. It's very it's creating definitely a new world, especially with mutants finally got a place where they can live and be happy, and then it gets destroyed, and then the aftermath, and how the rubble, and how everyone is doing with it. It's a lot like some of the interviews and news reports that I've seen that were taken during 9/11, and some of the creators said that that's kind of what they were going for. They didn't want to make a night they want to make 9/11, but they wanted to give it the same kind of feel. The first couple episodes were meant to be here's your usual adventures, and then that attack is supposed to bring us into the new world. And how they do it, this is what I always say: if you're gonna do something, a new idea or anything risky, do it right. And they've done it very well. They did it very much right. The emotions are felt, and you see characters in the background crying, grieving, helping out, and it's wow, this is a really good show. Cyclops and Jean go to look for survivors in the rubble that's been considered not safe, and the other characters go to help out. Beast helps out at the infirmary, and there's one nurse, I can't remember her name, but she says, after a thousand people and you help, and then you see a survivor and you think you want to be one, but once they come off the trot fresh, the survivor's the last thing you want to be. It's mm, mm, ow, 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 that hurts. Really well done scenes, and how they write all these, and how they animate them too with the emotion. It's really good. It's really good. Next is Rogue. He's in a trailer for the mid-season. Rogue runs into Captain America, who's also on the hunt for Gyrick, and it kind of reminded me of Winter Soldier, like because they go into this base that's underground and it's a bunch of old technology, and Captain America's there, and Rogue thinks, oh you're helping, that's great. Then Captain America says, oh we got to spy books. If they see me wearing this, and New Mexico is starting trouble, then there's gonna be a problem. And he says my hands are tied, and Rogue gets so petty because she's holding onto his shield at the moment. She says, if your hands are tied, you won't be needing this. Flies up and throws his shield into the mountains, and does like this little like shining star thing, like from Pokemon, where like Team Rocket's like, we're blasting off again, ding. It was pretty fun, but it was a little like, really, really. But Rogue is so strong. I think that she could take on the Hulk and Thor. That's just my opinion. I love Rogue. I think she's a great character. I'm not saying that she could take on them. I'm saying she can go toe to toe with them. I'm not saying she could beat them. It's toe to toe. I just like it. But when Cap also said, once we get what we need, my team and I will investigate. Does this mean that there are Avengers in this timeline? Now, this is obviously connected to the '90s show, and there were a lot of crossovers with a lot of characters like Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, the Fantastic Four, and there was even a big like Secret Wars event. Also, by the way, my hand is hurt a little bit, so that's what this is. Do not worry, I'm gonna be fine. So maybe the Avengers exist. Anyways, while they're looking, she sees something that says OZT. Now, I had to look this up because it's in the comics. Obviously, OZT is an acronym for Operation Zero Tolerance, which is another mutant hate group in the comics led by Cassandra Nova. But we learned that it's not Cassandra Nova in this show. It's someone else, and we'll get to him very soon. We cut back to Genosha, where everyone is helping out, and then Jubilee and Alberto are like talking about, oh, well, if our parents found out, like they wouldn't know, and they're just feeling really a lot of grief. And then Alberto says, you want to come with me to tell my mom? And the scene is done very well. It's how they written it is very I'm not professional to talk about it, but it's for some people who've gone through telling their parents a big secret about their life, you can relate to it a little bit. And his mom is very accepting, but she says, well, maybe let's keep you on the down low about being a mutant, because shareholders aren't really big mutant lovers, which is very sad. I feel very sad for this kid. He does not get a break. And all the humans are just dicks half the time. It's horrible. So Rogue, after she got her intel, we got back to Rogue, and after she got her intel, she goes back to another area in Mexico where she finds, I think it's Gyrick. She finds Gyrick. He's working on butterflies. It's so weird. And, she's interrogating him, and he's like, your powers aren't going to work on me. He tells Summers his wife's mind tricks aren't going to work on me. And she's like, oh, this isn't that type, bro. She takes her gloves off and like absorbs like his knowledge. It's so cool. I love that Rogue can do that. I love Rogue's powers. And she finds out what she wants to know, but she passes out. And back at Genosha, they cut back and forth, but then the stories converge. Back at Genosha, while the team is looking, they find Emma Frost, who is a telepath, but they find her because her skin like turned into glass or diamonds, and that hasn't happened before. That wasn't a power she had, but it must have happened, as Beach says, through like pressure. She makes a joke saying, I always work well under pressure. And then after that line, Cyclops just like breaks down. It's very emotional because he lifts his visor a little bit, because if he lifts it and his eyes are open, lasers come out. And Jean wipes his tears and everything. Then they get intel about Bulwark Trask, who's in Madripoor, saying, I can tell you everything that you need to know right now about the attack on Genosha and Sentinels. So they do that, but they go to New Mexico to find Rogue. And Rogue is passed out. She's found by Nightcrawler. And they bring up how they're siblings, which is really nice, because I almost forgot. I was like, oh yeah, they're siblings. And Nightcrawler comforts her, and she breaks down. She just breaks down. And the way like Rogue's voice actress delivered the lines and just like delivered her crying, I felt the emotion, because I've lost people in my life, and like I have been in moments where I've just had to like cry really hard into someone, and it was very emotional for me, and the show gets me all touchy-feely. I don't like it, but I love it. I never thought I would love X-Men so much. I'm so happy I do. Um, but I'm going off. But after Rogue is done crying, Jean comes in and we see the whole team, and she's like, "Oh." So they head. Guess where they're headed? Madripoor. Now Madripoor, we saw in live action in Falcon Winter Soldier, wasn't really that interesting. But we know that it exists, so they head there. Um, and they go to this building where I'm getting these names mixed up. Garrick is now in the hospital. Trask is okay. They go to meet Trask, and they find these new Sentinels, and they kind of remind me of the ones from Days of Future Past. They're very futuristic, almost human-like. And then Morph makes a joke about maybe we should stop poor man's Oppenheimer before he. And then later he says, "I become Death, Destroyer of Worlds." And the only reason why I know who Oppenheimer is because of the movie. Which is great. It's great. I love that joke. So they stop Trask. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get the names mixed up. They stop Trask, with Rogue like holding his collar and saying like, "Just give us anything. Anything would help." He says, "I have nothing." She says, "How do I?" Then she drops him. It's really dark. I was like, "Shit, she just killed him." And everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And Wolverine just goes, "She did what we all want to do." And then Morph just says, "Is this who we are now?" I'm like, "You guys are not killers. Trust me, you're not." And then right when Rogue is about to walk away, gets knocked the fuck out. And like half the building explodes, and it's crazy. I'm like, shit. And she is knocked out. Knocked out. And the team like gets together and like, we can't pull our punches. And he's been apparently mutated into a humanoid sentinel, like that new skeleton. And it's like, wow, that is crazy. That is crazy. So the team gets together. Morph turns into Quicksilver and uses the powers, but it has no effect. He takes all of them out one by one, and then he like holds Cyclops down. And he holds Cyclops down, and then right when he's about to kill him, like EMP is thrown near him, knocks out Trask, and then it's revealed Cable. And this is where we get the big moment. This is the moment I was so happy about. Cyclops and Jean find out, well, the real Jean find out that Cable is their son. Finally. Now, Jean finds out along with Scott, and she reads his mind, and Cable goes, "Get out of my mind. You're not her." Because Madeline Pryor was Cable's real mother. It's painful. It's painful. So he says, "Look, whoever this new guy is, you need to stop him, or else there won't be a future." Now, who is this new villain? A lot of people have said, is it Apocalypse? It's not Apocalypse. It's this guy called Bastian Shaw, I believe. He's the X-Men villains are so convoluted. You got Cassandra Nova, and then you got Bastian Shaw, who is a previous model of a Nimrod, who's from the future, Bishop's future, who's come to stop the X-Men a couple times, and Master Mold, who builds all the Sentinels, who's like a big Sentinel. So he's a mix of them. He's teaming up with Sinister to stop them. And he has like this big plan, and then we find out later by the end of the episode, it's really creepy. It's like something out of a horror movie. He goes to like this rundown barbershop in the middle of a jungle or something, and it's revealed Magneto's alive. Magneto's alive, but he's held down by a chair. His mouth is taped. He's got a power neutralizing collar on, and Bastion, being this creepy guy, shaves him. And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? Alright, so what do I think of this episode? Pretty good. Very very drama and action packed. I'm really looking forward to the last two episodes, because they're two-parters. And I think they're called Tolerance is Extinction, I believe. And it seems they're adapting like that comic storyline. Here's the thing. Bastian Shaw didn't do this, though, in the comics. This was actually Cassandra Nova's plan. But Cassandra Nova is in Deadpool and Wolverine, so I think they had to switch the characters, because it'd be weird if she was popping in. And also, Cassandra Nova's just has a really fucked up backstory. If you don't know, if you didn't see my Deadpool and Wolverine trailer breakdown, she's Charles Xavier's sister, who Charles found out was evil while they were in the womb, and Charles like beat her, and she survived in the sewers, then came back for revenge and caused all the problems on Genosha and all this other stuff. So yeah, again, X-Men villains are very confusing, but I thought the episode was good. Again, all these episodes have been pretty solid except for last week's episode because it focused on like Charles and all the space stuff. I'm not a big fan of the space stuff, which is weird because I like that part of the universe, but I just wasn't into it. I loved it. Can't wait for the next 2 episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Again, I'm sorry this took so long to get made. I was pretty busy. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.